Never put someone at the top of your list if they don't do the same for you. Remember, everything changes. Don't worry too much. Even if things are really bad, they won't stay that way forever. Other people's opinions don't decide your value. Those who dislike you might say truthful things that are painful, while friends might tell little lies to avoid hurting you. Live your life as you wish, because even those closest to you can't always be there. Danger is real, but being afraid is a decision. Difficult times always hold a lesson. Sadness hides hope, and fighting through hard things builds bravery. When everything feels lost, you often discover what's truly important. Many people are kind only when it's easy. Some people in your life are just meant to be there for a little while, to teach you something. Be brave enough to own up to your errors, wise enough to gain knowledge from them, and tough enough to fix them. It's difficult to let go of things, but sometimes it's the right choice. Feeling satisfied isn't the same as having everything you want. Life isn't just about getting what you desire, but also recognizing all the good things you already possess. It's all about finding a happy medium. Be nice to others, but don't allow them to mistreat you. Have faith in people, but don't let them trick you. Be satisfied with where you are, but always strive to become a better version of yourself. Even if you're the only one who still has faith in you, that's all you need. Life becomes much more enjoyable when you stop letting other people's opinions affect you so deeply. Regardless of how pleasant or polite you are, some individuals will still gossip about you. Any trouble or hurt you're experiencing now is temporary. Things will change over time, and this too shall pass. Always appreciate someone's feelings when they share them with you, because it likely took a lot of bravery for them to do so. If you lack confidence, pretend you have it. True confidence will eventually follow. Remember, no one can make you feel less than them unless you allow it. Expecting things often leads to disappointment, so try to expect less from others, or nothing at all. Those who tell you that you're incapable of achieving something are often the ones who are afraid of your potential success. Don't sacrifice your own well-being for the sake of others. If you want the world to treat you fairly, make sure you're treating the world fairly too. Fooling yourself, that's like expecting the lion not to eat you because you didn't eat him worrying. Only means you suffer twice. Don't be afraid of a shadow. It just means there's a light nearby. Just because you hate this chapter doesn't mean you'll hate the book. If it can be fixed, why are you complaining if it can't be fixed? Why are you complaining? The trouble is, you think you have time. Life can only be understood backward, but it must be lived forwards. You don't notice your progress in life because you are always raising that. Let go or be dragged. You'll ruin your life. Trying to make everyone happy if you have more than 3 priorities. You have none. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. People don't get what they deserve. You aren't always responsible for the first thought you have, but you are responsible for the second one. Never be so kind. You forgot to be clever, and never be so clever. You forgot to be kind. Your mind gives up a lot faster than your body. A calm sea will not make you act. Skilled sailor. Waiting for change while not doing anything for it is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. If you find yourself repeatedly questioning whether or not something is right for you, the answer is usually no. At some point you will realize no one else has a say in your life, unless you let them. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruit of your labor. We have 2 lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you. Seek nothing in life that is worth having. Comes easy, Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. It's possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is not a weakness. That is life. You're gonna make a lot of people mad, doing what's right for you. You can't cross the ocean until you lose sight of the shore. It's easy to fool someone. It's hard to convince them that they've been fooled any thought you have about them. Future is a delusion. Resin-M is like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. There's a lot of things worth caring about. You can either be a negative or positive person in life, but only one will get you somewhere before you speak. Let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Be afraid. But do it anyway. It takes a long time to realize how truly miserable you are, and even longer to realize it doesn't have to be that way. You will never remember the days and have to be that way. You will never remember the days and nights you stay home and do nothing. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it is a quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. That mountain you've been carrying, you were only supposed to climb. People often can confuse stress with responsibility. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. Someone once told me the meaning of hell on your last day on the earth. The person you became will meet the person you could have become. It is not of time. It is a lack of priority. What would you do if you weren't afraid? There are 2 paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road. You're on. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. The reason you want to be better than someone else is the reason why you aren't. Embrace stress as the opposite of apathy. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, you could miss it. Everything outside of this moment is just imagination. If you stopped seeing the world in terms of what you like and what you dislike and saw things for what they truly are in themselves, you would find a great deal more peace in your life. We are all a bad guy in someone's story. The only person who's ever going to remember your hard work is you, not this company, not your boss, only you. It's not worth killing yourself over a company that'll replace you in 2 days if you're gone. The people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Keep breaking your heart until it opens. Remember when you wanted what you currently have. Be the person you needed when you wanted what you currently have. Be the person you needed when you were younger. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. If you are unhappy, you are doing something wrong. Be not afraid of moving slowly. Be only afraid of standing still. Sometimes a hypocrite is nothing more than a man in the process of changing. The only time you should look into someone else's bowl is to make sure they have enough. Given the choice between being right and being kind, choose kind. Someone's opinion of you doesn't have to become your reality. The things you own end up owning and owning. You speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. Experience, don't expect experience. Life do not carry expectations on how it should be. One day or day, one you decide you miss 100 of the shots you don't take. Youth is happy because it has the capacity to see beauty. Anyone who keeps the ability to see beauty never grows old. The past is just a story we tell ourselves. Every person alive hits a crossroads in life when you have to let go of the past and forge ahead into something new. The only sad thing would be clinging to the past. Once it's out of reach, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Honesty without kindness is brutality. Kindness without honesty is manipulation. They've promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention dreams too. There are 2 ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You train people how to treat you, unconsciously or not. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened to realize that you are not your thoughts, is when you begin to awaken spiritually. The world is a tragedy to those who feel, but a comedy to those who think you are either part of the problem, or part of the problem, or part of the problem. Music solution. Never attribute to malice. That which can be adequately explained by stupidity fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. Never go to the past, not for happiness, not for justification, not for excuses. The world is what it is you are. What you are things are only impossible until they are only impossible, until they are music. Not just because you got away with a bad decision doesn't make it a good decision. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood. It's not your fault. Things are the way they are. There are more things likely to frighten us than to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Fake love is mighty convincing in a world where real love is mighty rare. Whoever fights can lose. Whoever doesn't fight has already lost. We live longer when we are too busy living. The point of the argument is not to defeat each other, but to understand each other. Life is 10. Life is 10. What happens to us in 90? How we react to it. Pain is weakness. Leaving your body, choose your pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Work like there is someone working 24 hours a day to take it away from you. The past is in your head. The future is in your hands. A sword can only be formed once. It goes into the fire. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success. When they gave up, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Your hardest times often lead to the greatest moments of your life. The trouble is, you think you have time. You've survived 100 of your bad days. A man must suffer if he is to remake himself, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. Never forget why you started. If you can't beat fear, just do it scared. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. When you find yourself in a difficult situation and everything is going against you, never give up, because this is the place and time when